Hello, hello, hello.
Max.
We're here. We're here to start the show. That's right. Max
Absolutely.
is ready. Yay! Oh, welcome. We'll probably have some other folks rolling in here in a few moments. And meanwhile, you've got Michelle and I in this gigantic orange. Look at how big they are this year. Wow! Before everybody comes in, let me pop the QR code across the bottom so it's not over someone's face. And there you go. If you don't have your copy of the book yet, well, check any of our posts. We have the international links in the comments of most of our posts. And you can scan this for the US link. You can scan the, you can just search in your international local Amazon.com, search for Rattled Awake, Volume 5, Rattled Awake Anthology Series, and you'll find it. Or just message any of us. Woo! There's so many ways to get your free book today. Hooray! And now I would like to show you this wonderful artwork that you've probably already seen that Michelle made for Max and I. And slow your roll. Yay! Just because it was there.
Oh, sorry. My dogs.
That was awesome. Perfect timing. There, I see a cat running away from the noise in the background.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Yay! Welcome to the Fri-YAY Fiesta. It is a social shindig soiree. Yay, yay, yay. Woo! Hooray! It's not a pop-up today, but that was from the pop-up for our previous volume. What is Fri-YAY, Wendy? It's a weekly opportunity to soothe stress with social sharing, support, celebration, weekly wins, appreciate yourself, you appreciating you, because you made it through another week. Yay! Yay! And coming together and connecting and sharing, even if your accomplishment was, I made it through another week. Or if it was you became 3-time best-selling author like me, because it's the magic number. 3 is the magic number. See, big W. Or maybe you're about to launch something. Maybe you saw somebody else doing something incredible. You'd like to give them a shout out. Maybe you have an upcoming event you'd like to make an announcement about. This is a forum. If you can't make the show, you're welcome to send me a message and I can do the shout out for you. Anybody is welcome to hop on the screen at any time. Let me drop the thing in the chat here. In case someone wants to pop on. And every week, you're welcome to pop on for a minute or stay for the whole show with audio only or full video like Michelle and I have here now, right? Yay! We can have up to 10 people. That's 2 healthy handfuls at a time. Super exciting. Oops, you have to push send. You have to push enter, Wendy, post. There you go. All right. That is the link to join. If any of you were looking for that, former authors, co-authors from former editions of Rattled Awake, anybody who's out there watching and is ready to pop on with us, we are live. Yes, click to join. I'm going to watch us over here now so I can see the lovely lag. Why don't you tell us, Michelle, how was your second experience? You've been in 3 because of the artwork with me in volume 4, but how was your second? I mean, you've been in 3 books now because of the one with Nicole. Why don't you tell us about that journey?
It's been incredible. You know, each time you write a book, you put your heart into it and you learn so much by doing that. And that's why I got to no regrets with this one in particular, because I've just realized the importance of putting your heart out onto paper is so important, that you've got to get your story out. And it's a wonderful way. Life is very short. It's a wonderful way to not have regrets. So you can put your story down on paper and share from your heart. How's it, Lonnie? Yay!
So that was a note to my family. Was that the title, Leaving Your Legacy, the other volume with the 21 authors? Speaking of sharing from your heart.
No, well, that one in particular was about my past into my present.
It's like a bridge
and
between
sharing.
the two volumes.
No, well, what it was sharing my two families, because I found out at 30 I was adopted, and it was a wonderful way to integrate everything and to share and carry my heart in the process, and in finding out that I got my rattled awake moment, that you have to put it down on paper to realize, because I just poured my heart out, and at 24 years hit me when I wrote that story, and I never realized how important it was to do that, because you sit with all this stuff, and you can't just share it with anybody, and it's a wonderful filter to be able to do that, and in doing that, through that process, I had my rattled awake moment, and I was, as Lonnie was like, Michelle, you have to share this. And that's where my no regrets came in Rattled Awake. That it's life is so short. Life is so short. And actually, it's not just about adoption, it's actually about everybody's story. And not having regrets by not sharing it and helping people heal through their lives. Sweet. Thank you, CJ. That's great.
Dr. C, Jay, yes. Oh.
Wow. Sure. And obviously, going through all these journeys and meeting all these people along the way, it is just so precious that one can do that. And through Nick's book, that hit my heart big time, that I had to do Rattled Awake straight away afterwards. It's absolutely exhausting going through the process, but I realized each time it was like new beginnings. From my first book through Lani, I realized my transformation, and through that I saw CJ, and then all of a sudden I started speaking about my transformation, but that was my transformation with my life, in realizing the importance of changing my work after 30 years, and now moving on, combining my families, which was so important, and now the importance of helping people through adoption and their process. So it's super, super important, even if you can't meet and greet people. Or even if you do meet, you still go through the process, but you carry it on you and in you the whole time until you can release it. So it's been a huge journey for me emotionally, and now I've got to get my stuff together and be there to help others big time. And I'm just so looking forward to that, because nobody wants to leave this planet with regrets.
No, that's what when they talk to the centenarians, or the folks that, the older folks, that's the advice, or the one thing, don't have any regrets, go for it.
No regrets. No regrets.
And what a wonderful
things they
opportunity.
didn't do.
We were talking about the transformational experience when we did the book release blast yesterday morning, right? A little bit with Sean, Lonnie, and yeah, it's just so, thank you for giving us this gift of this wonderful transformational experience of becoming best-selling co-authors of an international best-selling series, aka Rattled Awake.
It's been my pleasure, and it has been fun and amazing your journey, both of you, and Not quite sure what you're referring to, the transformational journey of Sean.
Well, all of us, several of us were talking about it, right? Rob, I guess it was during our workshop. It wasn't the book release blast. It was one of the workshop days when we were talking about it, or somewhere recently in our conversations.
Well, I'm sorry, I missed the point of the. I have heard it's transformational, but I missed the part where you. Anyway, doesn't matter.
That's all right. Yay, Lonnie Ray, hooray! And yes,
thanks, Wendy.
Darn eye twitch.
Thanks, Wendy. You've been nothing but spectacular, and because of that, I'm desperately going to miss you. But yeah.
I'll be around. I might
What
just
a ride.
take every opportunity that you're doing another round of Rattle Awake to buckle down on my own over here in the corner. And then next thing you know, we'll be putting my books out there. And I'll be supporting your future volumes, your future editions all the way too. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to be in every volume. 3 is the magic number.
Darn it. Yeah, I'm just so blessed by the people that have shown up, and I'm blessed by the people that have left. We learn a lot through these processes, and yeah, somebody said thank God and move on. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what we all do. No regrets. Don't carry it with you.
Yeah, letting go is part of life's lessons, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a hard one sometimes.
So sorry, my story's name in a note to my family was Rest in Peace. Resilience ignites passion. So yeah, it was also very impactful in that sense. But it hits your heart. It hits your heart big time, but one has to share. I'm sorry, the dogs are really going. I'm going to switch off.
I'm sure a delivery will come soon and mine will go off.
Well, I also want to share some of the other things that happen for authors. I did hear from Crystal today, and she was able to show that she's not just a POS, and so she's to the people that are involved in her world of and because of the book, it has opened really meaningful doors so that she can see her kids, and it's huge. That was really why she did.
I just got chills. Oh.
And it's working, and it works, and
wow.
Yeah, wow. I just heard all that today, and I'm really, really happy for her.
Wow, that is something to celebrate. That's incredible.
Yes. Yeah, I that's how I feel, Wendy. It's like, yeah, totally. Like, what's your thing to celebrate today? Her. And Michelle getting her story done, and you rocking it. I mean, like, there's a lot. But to look back at some of the authors and their journey and where this has taken them and what it's doing for them is just incredible. And I'm so excited to see what Volume 5 is going to do for these authors, and also mine. I'm super excited about my chapter. I hope everybody has a bag and they're ready to go, because if you're not, you might be in your PJs out there in public, and yeah, we don't want that. So yeah, like the platform is there for people who are looking to express an aha or an epiphany, or I realized when CJ was writing her story that she was writing about an important issue, and I welcome issues as long as it the person wraps themselves within it and makes it relatable, so that it's not like a report, but the book has personality and heart. And in your personal experience, I think the sky's the limit on what people, they're all invited to have a say. Gosh, I love helping you find a way to convey what you were born to say.
Yeah.
And Michelle, I mean, she just bowled me over with her emotion about this. The passion to help people now that she's gotten the aha herself, right? That's what writing does. And that's what Crystal was saying today too, by the way, because she's got only one chapter from having her solo book finished.
Awesome.
Yes, I know. The last time I talked to her was some coaching on how to get that done. And now she's like, I think I'm one chapter away. And wow, it's been a process. And it is. It
Yeah.
definitely is.
She'll probably need to revisit again to tell her story from her journey growing through her process since,
Mm,
because that's kind of what happens once you put your stuff down. You
yeah.
realize how it changes you to your next stage in your
Yeah.
life, and as we all evolve,
Yeah.
it's absolutely incredible because life evolves all the
Yeah.
time, and so do we. We evolve with it, and it really it opens doors, it closes doors, and it teaches you so much, and it also gets you out of yourself.
Yeah.
And look how it helps so many people with healing and growing. And that's what you want to do. You want to help inspire others. Um, I want those no regrets.
Yeah, Tara LaFon Gooch made a post about that today, about share your story, because it's going to help somebody. It might just help hundreds or thousands of people, but you've got to share your story instead of just stewing away in your own sauce, right?
Right.
Spread the love.
Yes.
Share it. It's not only transformational for you, but it does a lot of good for other people too.
That's how we learn things. That's
Yeah.
how
Well,
all wisdom
mean,
is passed down.
when I read your story, Lani, I was like, I never thought about things like it's sometimes not your own fault if you end up homeless, like through a fire. And if you're living in a block of flats and then all of a sudden you don't have insurance or something like that, and the next minute you are stuck out in your PJs and you've got nothing. And it's true, this is how close everybody is. Oh dear, this is how close everybody is to being the next step away from being in trouble, and or you always need to have that backup and have your bag ready. You have to have your bag ready,
Yeah, you do.
because you never know what's going to happen
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And
You want to be not an but a peace out Girl Scout. Like, I got this. No worries. Off I go.
yeah,
That's,
I'm
I
still
mean, and
getting my bag together.
there's no excuse
But
not to. And I realize you're in a different country, but here in America, 62% of Americans are one paycheck away from the curb or flying a sign on the corner. That's how tenuous it is.
Barely
And
hanging
so,
on.
I don't think we're far from that either. I think there's a lot of unemployed people, and everybody's in the same boat in a very different way. In a very different way. It's just that we're not aware of all these things that we should be aware of.
We're too busy doing this.
And that's where your stories come in, and your stories come in, and everybody's stories. They're so meaningful, and they teach
well,
you.
yeah, that's what awareness does. Hey, awareness plus acceptance. Oh, it's like that, huh? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Noted. And then action is how we get change.
Yeah.
And it begins by taking a look at something, isn't it? Like, that's obvious. And yet there's a lot of people who don't want to. So I was really hoping to rattle people awake with the it could so easily be you.
Yeah.
It could so easily be anybody you love and know or whatever. Like, hello, let's get this together. And then there's certainly the process of deciding, and that's a big part of our chapters is what matters to the person that's reading it, and what are you selling, and what are you peddling. And what I realized I was peddling was peace of mind. And that's why I titled the chapter that way, peace of mind. Michelle, you're peddling, selling no regrets. I don't want you to have any regrets. Like, this is where what I came to do and to help you do. Like, who wants to have that? Regrets? No, that's heavy. No.
But we all got that. There's a little piece of ourselves that we all have that.
Don't do this we thing. I don't.
We all have something that we're bottling up and we're not sharing. And
I thought you were going to say regrets. No, I've definitely tried to live without any regrets in my life. There are some things I wish I'd done differently, though. But at least, if you can make up for it, if you can be like, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong, then, you can move on from that. But anyway,
Well, I've had to learn a lot. So, yeah, sure.
yeah.
Life has been a journey, that's for sure. And
That's
I
all it
can
is.
really, really help people through that journey, because you go through all those emotions and the never knowing. I was stuck for 3 years in never knowing. And that period of time, as we realized that I was staring at the ceiling and asking all these questions that, because you just don't know, to find and to seek, and all those kind of things. And what's your medical history, and what do they look like, and all these kind of things. Now, imagine, as my friend, after 15 years, our chat, she wanted to find her daughter all her life after giving her up for adoption. And when she did find her, her daughter never wanted to meet her.
Yeah.
And so she's still stuck in life. But the importance is to actually put that story down and to share it so that she will have no regrets in life. Because maybe one day her daughter will see it, but she's done what she then can do in life. And it's not only her. There are so many people that go through those journeys. And it's so important. You've got to write it down, because you make yourself ill if you carry all this stuff. And it's not good. And even if, like me, I did find my family, you still have to write it down. Because you go see a psychologist. But I think it's much better to write it down, because then it's your own pure thoughts that you're actually writing down, that you can get it off your chest.
I don't think I need to be here, Michelle. Just carry on. I'll see you guys later.
No, Lonnie.
I'm about to go. I've got an appointment in a few minutes.
All right. Well, thanks for popping in.
Yes,
and thank you so much for everything, Lonnie. And
thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, I could do one.
I know.
Hug. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye-bye, Lonnie.
Bye.
Oh, you gotta say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
There we go. Max says, I'm here to take her place. Dog is my co-pilot. He's turning 6 at the end of the month. He is he welcomes treats and snacks to be sent our way.
Cute, man.
Yes, I think he's after that cat that's sleeping on the bed behind you.
Yeah, well, Kitty has to contend with a lot of dogs here on the farm.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I saw the cat run in when the first bout of barking went. Love that picture of your family. And was that an emu too, or?
Yes, I do. And I do. ADU. I do. Yeah. So I must tell you a very quick story. Is there was what happens is when you get an emu, they imprint on either a person or something.
Oh.
And when they first come, when they first arrive, and they didn't imprint. He didn't imprint on my friend. He imprinted on the border collie, Deeks. So Deeks would always be around Adu and in his cage and all that kind of a thing. And Deeks always chased cars in and out the farm and that kind of a thing. But what we started calling Deeks was Deekadoo. So that was just Deeks' nickname. And then, of course, when Adu came to the farm, we decided to call Adu because of Deeks imprinting. So I thought it was quite cute, actually. It works well. So it's and of course after 6 months that went away. That Deeks, is not around Adu all the time. So, but Adu is Adu, and Adu walks around and owns the farm, and Adu loves to hang out with the horses. And always does rumble and tumble in between the horses. It's almost like, did you ever watch, is it a Beep Beep? There was that ostrich, like a cartoon in those days. and you'd always see this ostrich was always getting up to mischief. Ado is like that.
Much
Always getting
ado
up to
about
mischief.
something.
Yes, so if you go out to feed the birds or the chickens or the ducks something special, the next minute you've got a plate of food, the next minute Adu comes, whack, and grabs all the food and chucks all
I
over
see
the
like a cartoon in my head now of Much Ado About Something, which is kind of lightly formulated from the Shakespeare, but of Much Ado About Nothing, but then twisted around to be the emu's mischief in.
Yes.
I'll get cracking on that writing, and you can start with the artwork.
I should actually.
8,000 other things we're doing.
You know, when you leave the kitchen door open as well, wherever you are, Adu walks in and just helps herself all over the kitchen. So whatever's, if there's bread, there's the bread bin, and Adu grabs the bread and just flings like 6 rolls go, and the whole loaf of bread goes. You just see bread flying or whatever she could get hold of in the kitchen. So it's hysterical. You make sure you close that kitchen door.
I love it. I love it.
Funny.
I love it.
She's always keeping us on our toes. So, Wendy, tell me, what made you write this third story?
Well, after disqualifying myself from the first one and the second one, when I came into the volume 3 and started writing, I knew I had more. It was tough to get going, right? That's why some authors are like, a weekend, I can't do it in a weekend. And so Lonnie really makes it a lot easier than you think it would be. But still, it's a practice that I want to devote more time to, but I haven't been able to carve it off because of, life and not becoming homeless and all of that stuff, like paying bills. So deciding that, 3 is the magic number. I was born on the 3rd, for those of you that don't know, and my initials are W, which is 3. So I just decided to use it as a kind of, coaching program for myself and do 3, to be the first co-author to do 3 volumes, and also use it as a coaching program for myself, learning from Lonnie in the process each go round to help stimulate those synapses, because everything's difficult at first. Planning the first time you try it is like a Rubik's Cube. I heard Jesse Itzler say that the other day, and the first time we learned to use one of these computer things, it was difficult. The first time you ride a bike or swim, or you can't learn to swim or ride a bike from reading a book or listening to someone talk about it. You have to do the thing. Right? There's knowledge, and then there's knowing, and there's the experience of it. So, and the reason a lot of my work with helping people move out of pain gets results where other things haven't is because it shifts that approach of moving and doing and being in what you're doing, instead of just going through the motions. Oh, this stretching shit doesn't work, right? Well, it's the way you're not being in what you're doing. You're just trying to apply this fix, right? So instead of just writing, I really wanted to integrate Wiseman, integrative, integrate big theme with me, but to really kickstart the practice. And I have so many rattled awake moments. I mean, they're just, once you open those doors, it's like, sometimes I'm working on someone's back and I'll hit a trigger point and you can see the muscles releasing the satellite trigger points. And it's like, sets off fireworks of like, oh, finally, relief. Right? And it's like, but it's like that. I've been not having the chance to write in this way because it's all been, like forced into funnels or these things they tell you should do to launch your coaching career, and, all of that stuff that we're fed. We have to wade through. So it really gave me the opportunity to dive into the story side of it and to open up some of those doors so that the started,
Sorry.
you know, I've got a couple other chapters going already. I've decided to do a book of chapters on my own that are very similar to these. And for a book that's tentatively titled Asleep at the Wheel. Yeah, I started a Don't Fall Down about the guy I did Tiffany stained glass windows with on Long Island, the North Fork, and $1 million Tiffany windows I was restoring. And he also happened to be from the same part of Ohio that I was, and used to hang out with the Estevez brothers and tell their little brother Martin to go play in traffic, right? Martin Sheen. But anyhow, he would, I know, tangents. See what happens when you open the doors? It's like whoosh, floodgates of stories. He would always say, "Don't fall down," instead of "See you later, bye," or whatever other people say. He'd say, "Don't fall down." And I can't remember why he told me he said that. That might emerge again. So I've started a chapter on that. I started another chapter called Into the Drink about a car accident that I had. And, you know, these are going to be little snippets of my life and rattled awake moments, but also with meaning and message, like these stories in the Rattled Awake Anthology series. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. I've got it laid out, and the process has kick-started, and I'm super excited because I've got a lot. My life, I've had more than 9 lives. I started to write something about Chef Sean's polydactyl, like a Hemingway cat, the 6-toed Hemingway cats, polydactyl cats. And I had one, Bear. I told him if he could just develop the strength on that thumb that he could, you know, then take over the world. You ever had one of those, a cat with extra toes, a Hemingway cat?
No.
They're called polydactyl. Yeah, so there you go. There's a whole bunch of floodgates, but life's like that. It's part of the reason that, you know, our cognitive abilities slow down as we get older is because there's so much more to sort through. Like when you have too much on your computer and you try to make it do too many things at once and it freezes, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens in there. So I've got these files and files, dusty files and things, and, you know, you have to kind of blow the dust off that one and access right? Yeah. Because I lived in New York City and then San Francisco, and each of those places is such a high pace of living that, you know, in an hour I'm filling a couple of years of input for someone else.
You've got so much energy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good to have it back. It's good to have it back, to be coming back together. And it's been a rough ride for so many people. So many are just really still on the cusp of the crashing from the COVID shutdowns and things, and processing the emotions of the last 3 years. And there's kind of a shifting in universal consciousness and humanity that on the one side, there's a lot of dark, heavy shit going on. And on the other side, there's a lot of awakening and opening and blossoming and beauty all around. And that's what we're part of. Look at you, look at me, look at Max. Yes, you're beautiful. We know it. He knows it. He knows it.
It's actually weird. I kind of reset over that time. I resigned from a job. And then I did my transformation of my getting back into my art and following my heart, basically. But I think it's also to do a lot with my age. And, you know, I was 52 when I did that, 54 now. So I've been on quite a bit of a mission, actually. And it hasn't been easy. It's been tough. But also going through a walk of life where you go through 3 parents passing and, you know, a lot of other family members too. And still now, just in the last month too, actually in this month too. So a lot of people are passing the older we get as well, that we know. So it's not easy, this evolving life. And obviously, I do believe to carry their memories is also very important.
Yeah.
So, because if they ain't putting it down on paper and or doing something about it, who else is? And okay, it's not your responsibility to do that, but for the ones that you do love and care for, to make sure that it's there somewhere, written. I do believe it's really, really important. Sure, I've had so many special moments in my life and so many special people, and to see them all start leaving life now already. Most of my like father, who I grew up with, his brothers and sisters are all in their late 70s, 80s now, and so it's going to be a heavy next 10 years, I'd say, or 5 years, because it's all starting to happen already. And
The older you get, the more people you lose. And so it's you
absolutely,
that moves
yeah.
on to the next
And
plane.
my mom who raised me, all her siblings are gone, but there's obviously all the cousins, and things like that. But some of them are right up to 70 already. So, sure. Yeah, there's people are, and it's the relationships that you build now. You've got to keep building those relationships to keep life going and evolving. So, and it's so important.
It is,
Um,
and that's.
yeah.
I mean, look at the Hounds of Business community, or Trevor Ben Warden just posted the 77 Hotness Unleasher people, and he's thinking about reopening that show that brought so many of us together on LinkedIn. And there's some great communities and connecting going on to grow those connections, but it's also important to not neglect the family and friends by living in online communities and online platforms, like you're saying, because they're not there. I wish I'd taken the time out of my 20 something, early 30s, whatever, to go talk to my grandfather about some of his stories that I was just learning about at the end, when they start to come up, and it's like the truth pours out about stuff they were keeping hidden all their lives, and just really documented more of that, because what an entirely rich and diverse life. I knew him as a preacher, a Methodist preacher, and then it turned out he'd been a merchant marine, and this, that, and and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And now my mom's gone too, and by the time I started asking her a lot of questions, she was doing the sift through the dusty files, recollection dance. And then my dad, had started to slip away into the dementia of Parkinson's. So there's no time like now, so tune into yourself, tune into others, share, and be there, right?
That's why I started noticing all the beautiful stories on LinkedIn that people were putting their heart out there. Just a short, even if it was a post, and they put a picture there, and I just could see that I could do so much more with it. So that's what I was doing. I was taking their picture and putting my own signature in it and just giving it to them and saying, there it is, and you know, and it just really made a difference to their story, and it just helps bring out those extra emotions and letting them see that there's so much more to life, and to create that impact that you will never forget, because people forget photos quite a bit, but not artwork. There's always a story behind artwork. So that's why I'm still like, it's so important, but words are also just as important. So, because there has to be the story behind it. So it's a marriage of the two. And what better way to tell a story? Sure. And in those days, there weren't cell phones, there weren't computers, and you're so right. My parents, my dad died when he was my age, and I was 18. And you're not really that connected with your parents at a adult level that you can have those kind of conversations with them.
No, not when you're young.
But I used to love sitting and listening to the elderly with their beautiful stories. You're right. People we used to go visit, and they'd sit and they would talk about their stories and the war stories as well.
Yeah.
because they all went through war. And they used to, my aunt, who I looked after in the last month when she passed with cancer, um, she used to always say, Michelle, I'll only use those 4 pieces of toilet paper. And I'm like, Janie, really? Still now today? And she says, yeah, it's instilled in her, that's how important even toilet paper was to them in the war days. And, you don't realize what people carry through with them and the
That
importance
is
of it.
such an important point, and it goes back to what you're saying about write it down, because I've been doing some work with certain coaches and some shadow work, and you don't realize some of these things are passed down generationally, and you don't know what's driving some of your behavior until you pause to kind of look at these things that got instilled in you from those wartime experiences or those famine experiences through the genealogical journey of
Do
things.
you know what really irks me is my mom and I, when I grew up, after my dad passed, my mom and I was super close. I absolutely adored her. She was like a best friend to me. And then she slipped into Alzheimer's within the
Yeah.
first 2 years of her finding out she had Alzheimer's. And I was like so, so upset because I just found her, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then I started maturing in life. And then she couldn't tell me anything
Yeah.
because she forgot everything. And
It's
that's so sad. And her sister could tell me a bit, but it's not from my
it's
mom.
not the same. And I'm going to take that moment to just drop this right here, right now, because now is when you stop that process from happening, people. Because if you don't make the lifestyle changes, the way you're living, eating processed food, working, not sleeping, then your brain is going to go. It's probably going right now. There is no better time than today to start saving your brain 20 years from now. Work with a coach, talk to me. I have a huge referral pool of people that might work for you. Simple strategies, but please do not delay. Your health is your wealth, and it is not guaranteed. And every crappy piece of junk food or toxic habit that you have is adding those plaques to your brain and cutting your life shorter. There you go. That is the
That's so
very
true.
passionate public service announcement. And we return you to, please go get your free gift copy of Rattled Awake Volume 5.
You're like a pre-ad here in between.
Yes. Healthy doesn't have to be complicated, folks. Lonnie loves when I say that. I have simple health foundations. Just move your body more, eat real food, and watch the toxicity of your mind. Be mindful. That's simple, pretty simple, right? Breathe, smile, enjoy. Go ahead. Breathe, smile, enjoy. Practice that as often as possible throughout the day, especially as you're reading Rattled Awake, Volume 5. But wait, there's more.
You know,
can get wonderful illustrations for yourself when you contact Michelle. Yes.
I spend at least 2 to 3 hours every second day watering our veggie garden, and how important it is to grow your own vegetables. And there's nothing nicer than taking out whole wheat bread and making that beautiful sandwich and going to the garden and getting your fresh tomatoes and cilantro and all the rocket leaves, and you just build that, and it's just, there's nothing nicer than fresh fruit from the garden. So we eat a lot of fresh.
Look at how big
Yes.
that is this year. It's so big.
You'll probably find that's from South Africa because we
from
don't
the
even see our
backyard.
first
This
grade.
is from the backyard. They were last year. They
Okay.
were only about this size, and this year they're this size. They're much bigger because of all the water. So
Wow.
I've got my vitamin C for the next few months. Very exciting. And on that note, I need to go eat lunch before I go to work. and it's getting dark for you, I can tell, over there.
Yeah, it's 11:15 at night.
So it has been wonderful. We'll have to have another wonderful conversation again sometime soon. What's next for you? How can people get in touch with you? LinkedIn's the best place, or what? Give a shout out for yourself. Yeah, get the information in the book. You can get it in her bio in the book. There you go. Get your free gift copy. Thank you, everybody. Wave bye-bye.
Thanks, Rennie. Thanks, everybody, for coming.